Hello, welcome back to Jorbs scribbles on the screen and talks about every card in the Slay the Spire compendium. Talking about Headbutt today. Headbutt's okay. Headbutt's okay, it's not great for damage early. It has some strong interactions, but in general, the really strong stuff that Ironclad does is too fast for Headbutt to be very good. Some examples of strong interactions that we've got going on here, though. Headbutt lets you set up a card for Havoc to hit, which can be nice, although note that you have to have drawn the card and then discarded it. This is a general problem with Headbutt, that we have to be like fairly far into the fight such that we've already drawn and either played or discarded the card that we're headbutting, so it's very slow. It doesn't do very much very early, and it doesn't deal that much damage either. But okay, we could maybe throw a Whirlwind on top of our deck and then Havoc it. That could be pretty cool. If we wanted to get a Demon form in play and we drew it earlier, we could put the Demon form on top with Headbutt and then Havoc it. These are okay interactions. It can be sort of nice with Rampage to get Rampage going. So we play Rampage, we Headbutt it, we play it again. That's the sort of card that you want to play multiple times in a fight. If you're going to really lean on Rampage super hard, it tends to just fall off so much in Act 3 compared to other things you can do that you're not really well served pursuing it that far. And then in Act 2 it tends to be okay without Headbutt for the Act 2 bosses, so like Headbutt doesn't really do incredible stuff for Rampage in my experience. It's just sort of awkward. It doesn't quite line up in the right ways, but it's a thing. It's there. It does make Rampage slightly better. Entrench with Barricade is one use of Headbutt that I actually think can be quite strong. I don't often end up trying to make Barricade and Trench work, but if I do, it's not that unusual that I would want to Headbutt, because that's a scenario where you do actually end up doing very, very, very strong things out of playing that Entrench multiple times. Still though, like, if Headbutt's getting in the way of you drawing an Impervious to get 40 block to get going, or getting in the way of you drawing your Barricade or something like that, it's pretty problematic, you know? With Limit Break it can be good. It's definitely true that even like going into an Act 3 boss fight, there are some decks where you're scaling off Limit Break Plus and you just need to scale faster than you do, and Headbutt is actually a really nice way to scale faster than before with Limit Break Plus, so I'll say in that sort of situation, Headbutt can be pretty good even late game. There is some value in just putting a strong card on top of your deck. So think about, for example, Flame Barrier. Flame Barrier is a card that's like usually very good value. You often want to have it in your deck, but it's incredible against Book of Stabbing on the multi-attack turns. And so having a Headbutt in your deck, you can like say, okay, I'm against Book of Stabbing, I want to play Flame Barrier multiple times. I'm going to play it and I'm going to Headbutt it back on my deck for next turn. Cool. You can then maybe go into the Gremlin Leader fight and be like, oh, I actually really need a Whirlwind next turn. Oh, hey, I can Headbutt it for next turn. Sorts of things. Although you won't be able to if it's in your hand, because it will use all of your energy when you play it. But if it's in your discard pile, you could do that. So there is some value for sure that you can eke out of Headbutt just by getting to play certain strong cards multiple times. Maybe they're very strong because of this particular fight, or maybe it's just the case that you're early on in the run and they are the card that you added to your deck that's like a good uncommon and you upgraded it. I think Battle Trance is a really good example of that idea. I even mentioned Battle Trance separately, but if you have a Battle Trance in your deck, getting to play that card many times is very nice, and sometimes I think justifies grabbing a Headbutt if you need more damage otherwise anyway, which often you do need more damage in your deck in Act 1. I have Feed and Reaper on this list. A little bit weird because they both exhaust, so it's not like you're going to play them multiple times with Headbutt, but they are both cards you want to play at a certain time in the fight. And so having Headbutt can help you set up to play them at the appropriate time, which can be really nice. Yeah, but I believe, as I said earlier, in general, the really strong stuff that Ironclad does doesn't use Headbutt. It's faster than that, it's stronger than that, it does way more stuff than this card is doing. And so, in general, you're not super excited about taking this card. It doesn't do that much damage in Act 1. you usually are going to be able to sneak in a bash upgrade or get a little bit more vulnerable into your deck in Act 1. If you couldn't, then headbutting your unupgraded bash would maybe be okay against like Gremlin Knob or something. And I mean, headbutt's going to be better to play than an unupgraded strike, sure. But in general, it's just not a very good card. It's just not a very good card in most situations in Slay the Spire. So keep an eye out for when it is good. If you have an early bottled Battle Trance and all of a sudden Headbutt's looking pretty good, if you have a deck that's all about playing Entrench multiple times after Barricade, then perhaps Headbutt's looking pretty good. But don't expect that to come up all the time or anything. Don't be trying to force yourself into decks that revolve around Headbutt interactions, because you're just going to make it hard to get into the stuff that's much stronger than what this card does.